Good afternoon. Glad to be with you again. Give me some feedback, questions, comments from what we covered last time. We covered a lot of stuff as far as recognizing yourself and recognizing other people as well on doves, owls, peacocks, and eagles. I know a few of you were not here for that, but what? Mattered, didn't matter, saw family members different, saw co-workers different, saw... No? You forgot when you left? No. Huh? What do you see?
A lot of the comments that I got was that people identifying not only themselves, but so much as far as other people. So, and how helpful it was to kind of recognize that and then, just understand there's difference.
Yeah. Corporate America, I don't know if I mentioned that, but Corporate America is putting their people through this. There was an article in the Sun News about 5 years ago, and what we covered last week, this guy calls his red, yellow, green, and blue. There are two different companies out there that do that. And you come to Florida, and you spend the morning with him, and then you go that afternoon and play golf on one of the golf courses with one of his assistants so that you can better understand the difference in personality styles. And the charge per person is $10,000. And then it said, I don't know why, then it said you had to pay extra for the golf. I don't know, for 10 grand I want the golf too. But anyway, the point is we're in the people business, and understanding people is important to each of us. Today we're going to talk about team building, because you can't be an effective leader or manager unless you have a team. Benita, we got one that needs to go in the back. Benita, did you have any extras of these? We got one or two. Okay, anyway. And you can't have an effective team without being able to effectively communicate. I don't know from where I got this, but I thought it might be worth sharing it with you since you're in the golf business. Actual calls received at the public golf course in Amherst, Massachusetts, reported by the staff. Staff, answer the phone. May I help you? What are your green fees? $38. Does that include golf? Golf course, may I help you? Yes, I need to get some information from you. First of all, is this the correct phone number? I mean, it's just some of that crazy stuff. Golf course, may I help you? Yes. Do you have one of those areas where you can buy a bucket of golf balls and hit them for practice? You mean the driving range? No, that's not it. Anyway, and it keeps on going. Golf course, may I help you? How much to play golf today? 25 to walk, 38 with a cart. $38? No, yen. Anyway, golf course, may I help you? Yes. Do you have a driving range there? Yes. How much for a bucket of large balls? Sorry, we're all out of large balls. We can give you twice as many of the small balls for the same price. Golf course, are y'all awake? Give me a break. I mean, they're not that good, but come on.
We have a call center. There's a video online that does what you're talking about.
Really?
And you should go look it up, okay? And you will howl, okay? Yeah, nothing that you said we haven't heard, okay?
Okay, so everybody heard it? Okay, anyway, but communication. So we'll start out with team. And one of the things I find is a good place to start and a good way to start is the difference between group members and team members. And that's what you have on your first page there. Because one of the questions that I ask companies when I call on them from time to time is, are the people in your company a group or a team? And most people don't know the difference. They think because we all show up, we all wear the same kind of name tags and that kind of stuff, that we're a team, and you may find out not. So if you look at your page there, on the first line, group members work independently. Group members work independently. And if you have children that are teenagers or above, you want them to get an education so that they can get a job, so that they can be what? Independent. Yeah, we think that's the pinnacle. We think that's the highest you can go, but it's not, because team members work interdependently. Interdependently. Independently means I can do it by myself. Interdependent means I can do more if I involve other people. Our bodies work interdependently, don't they? I mean, each organ depends to some degree on another organ somewhere else in the body. And the lungs can't say to the heart, we're the biggest organs in the body. We don't need you. The heart says, watch what happens to you when I stop. Okay? So teams work interdependently. Number 2, group members are self-focused. Self-focused. They're tuned into this station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? If there's nothing in it for them, they don't do much. Okay? Because they're self-focused. It's a book I bought a couple years ago, Looking Out for Number One. I got to take care of me. That's kind of where we live in today. While team members are team-focused. Team members are team-focused. What happens today in high school, college, and professional football if you do a play and take off your helmet and turn around? In college, they just change it. If your helmet comes off, you got to sit out a play. But if you take it, some of us remember Deion Sanders at Florida State, and he would run down for that 97-yard return or whatever he would run, and he would get to the end zone and do what? Yank the chin strap, take the helmet off, and turn around and smile at the fans. They don't do that anymore, not unless they get a penalty, right? Because it was look at me. It was look at what I'm doing. And you don't have to look very far in sports, to see, particularly professional sports, to see people that are self-focused more than they are team-focused. Who was the guy that played with Michael Jordan that had all the tattoos? Rodman. Now, was Michael Jordan self-focused or team-focused? And which one was Rodman? My son that was coming along, he's about 12 or 13, he said, Daddy, he said, come on. He said, he's just trying to make a statement. He said, he's putting those tattoos on him to enjoy them himself. I said, he does not have eyes in the back of his head. He can't see his back with all that stuff on it. Okay? Team-focused or self-focused. The third difference between group members and team members are group members can't, don't, or won't trust other members. Why would you trust someone that works independently and that focuses on themselves? While team members can and do trust one another. I played in the first Make-A-Wish golf tournament that was here over at Grand Dunes, 10 years ago, whenever it was. And what they had you do was one of your team members one day was a professional golfer, maybe not a touring golfer, but a professional from the pro shop or whatever. And the next day you played with a professional athlete. Well, the athlete that I played with the one day was a guy named Rodelsberger. Anyway, he was the long snapper for the Carolina Panthers. He'd been on 7 different professional teams. The guy was huge. He and I rode in the same cart together, and I was trying to learn. Ask him what was the toughest thing about playing professional football. And I thought it would be the rigors of the practice or lifting weights or working out or getting hit or whatever. He said, the real toughest thing is your job's on the line every Sunday. I said, it's that bad? He said, no, you get a knee blown out, it's over. Okay, you do this and it's over. I said, but what's the toughest part? And he said this. He said it's the ability to be able to count on and trust your teammates. To trust your teammates. I said, tell me about that. He had played the year, if any Panthers fans, maybe you can tell me what year this was, no Panthers fans? It was the year that they almost went to the playoffs. It was early on. They were only about 3 or 4 years old, and they just about got there. And he said that year, when I go back to snap the ball to the punter, he said, I have to get it there in 1.2 seconds. If it's 1.3 or 1.4 seconds or more, the punt's going to get blocked. I went, man, it's that much of a science? He said, yes. He said, and I could trust the guys on either side of me. He said, but since we almost went to the playoffs, he said, we went out, the owners went out, and got better talent. He said, the 2 guys beside me, the second year, the year following that, had better talent, but I couldn't trust them to do their job. I flinched, and we got more punts blocked that year. But the ability to trust. Number 4, group members are concerned, communication is closed. They will not share their thoughts, ideas, and recommendations. Because why would you share your thoughts, ideas, and recommendations with people that work independently, that focus on themselves, that you don't trust? By the way, my sense is and my hope is somewhere as we go through this, you can begin to identify some people maybe with whom you now work or have in the past to see the contrast. While team members, communication is open. They're free to ask stupid questions. By the way, I don't think there is any such thing as a stupid question. A lot of stupid answers, no stupid questions. But they can't get him one of these. Never mind, he's got it. They'll share ideas, they'll make recommendations, they'll come to a meeting and they'll go, I think this, I think that, I saw this, I saw that. What do you think about it? And they're not offended if it doesn't go anywhere. They're just not. Number 5, group members do not see the big picture and their role in the big picture. They just don't see it. While team members see and get the big picture and they understand their role in it. Got any Redskins fans? Redskins fans? Okay, got a couple Redskins fans. Yeah. Kind of appears to me that RG3 doesn't get it yet. Is that just me? No? Okay. I mean, he still kind of thinks it's about him. I didn't figure this out for myself. I listen to sports radio a lot when I'm in the car, and they were talking yesterday about Andrew Luck doesn't think it's about him. He thinks it's about him making a contribution to the team, and then let everybody else talk about him. RG3 thinks it's up to him to promote RG3, and I think he'll be a better player when he moves from that. Number 6, group members, ladies and gentlemen, are immature. Because if you look up that list, all of that is immature behavior. And the thing that I've learned over the last 20 or so years is this. Maturity has nothing to do with age. I have friends and I know people that are in their 20s that are very mature. And I know people that are in their 60s that are still very immature. See, what separates that is immature people. I got a granddaughter that's 12 months old, 12 and a half months old. And you know what she thinks? The whole world is about her. And her learning curve is going to have to come as her parents teach her that it's not about her. But some people, unfortunately, grow up and never get over that. And they're 50 and 60 and 70, and it's all about me. It's what about me? It's look at me. It's doing that. So that's immature behavior. Where the other side, team members are mature. Team members are mature people. Because that list of things is mature behavior. Growing up's not easy. But the earlier we do it, the better off we are, in my opinion and experience. To grow up and learn that the world is not about us. It does not revolve around us. It's about other people. Questions or comments? Hope you get a picture. And again, my suggestion to you is you can duplicate any of this stuff, share it with other people, and help. But the key is to move more from being a group to being more like a team. Well, under group, the acronym TEAM stands for this. Today, everything's about me. While on the team side, it stands for this. Together, everyone accomplishes more. And by the way, it does take a team effort to do what you do, to be in the business that you're in, from the marketing to the cart people, to when they come in, to cleaning the clubs, to all of that stuff. For the greens to be right, for the fairways to be right, it takes a team effort. And things work out better when you have a true team effort. Insights? Okay. Second page, the acronym teamwork. The T stands for trust. To go back to Rodelsberger, trust has to be there. It's the key to leadership, management, supervision, and a team. I heard what's the guy? Can't think of his name right now. He's one of the sportscasters. It was on pro football, and they were doing it preseason. I was watching it, and what he said is the new guys come along. They were still in preseason practice, and he said you can't pick winners when they're only in helmets and shorts. And he had a couple other guys with him on the show, and what they said was, yes, some of the young guys, when you get in the huddle, you got to be able to trust those people in that huddle. And then he said this. He said, also, the players have to be able to trust the coach, and the coach has to be able to trust the players. The coach has to be consistent. He doesn't get too up when you win. He doesn't get too down. That doesn't mean they don't get mad. Doesn't mean they don't get upset. But you can count on him being the coach. So what's happening is, from a teamwork side, you need to be able to trust the people that work in your department or your area, and they need to be able to trust you. Trust is key. Give you two words for the next couple. The second one is energy or enthusiasm. Energy or enthusiasm. My wife, from time to time, over the years, has liked to change the color of our walls in our house. And painting is hard for me. I don't mean it's physically hard. I mean it's mentally hard. I'm not mechanically inclined. Changing light bulbs are hard for me. Doing what I do now is not hard for me. I like it. I enjoy it. And we were painting one day, and she always did the trim, and I always did come on, it's just rolling stuff. But I'm telling you, it wasn't hard and it wasn't fun. A wonderful wife. Anyway, she said, isn't this fun? And it just came out. I said, I hate it. I just hate it. She said, well, we can stop. Let's hire it done. So we called some dear friends of ours who'd just gotten their house painted, and they said, this guy will come out and do a great job. I have never seen anyone enjoy their work more than this guy that came. His first name was Wayne. He would whistle. He would sing. He could talk to me. Wayne, I'm not sure I like that color. Don't worry, Mr. Reynolds, we can change that right out. We'll just do this. He was having as much fun doing that as I have doing this. Okay? He had energy for painting the wall. I have energy for doing these things. So when you look at team, you don't necessarily put the wrong person in the wrong position because they might not have energy or enthusiasm for that position. The A stands for attitude and ability. I'll talk about attitude first. Attitude, meaning having a positive or can-do attitude versus a negative or can't-do attitude. One of my pet peeves, one of the things that irritates me when I'm traveling, getting on an airplane, renting a car, doing whatever, hotel reservations, is for somebody to tell me what I can't do. Mr. Reynolds, we can't get you from here direct to there. Please don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me what you can do. A year and a half ago, she said, you'll have to go through we can't get you straight to Atlanta. You'll have to go through Detroit. I said, then send me through Detroit. I want to get to Atlanta. Don't tell me 18 things I can't do. Tell me what I can do. We don't have this and we can't do that. We don't have this. No. Good team members figure out what you can do. Figure out what you can do. I pulled a leg muscle playing golf a couple of weeks ago on the first tee. I mean, it brought me to, it's not supposed to be a rough sport, folks. I understand that. But I mean, I yelled and it brought me to my knees. I was playing with a former high school football coach of mine, a good friend, and I just dropped. He said, can you finish? I said, I'm going to. I had to hit with shoulders for the rest of the day. I hit driver off the ground off the tee box, and I hit it like you'd hit a 9-iron. And all I did was this. When I was 100 yards out, I hit 7-iron. Because all I could do was this. He said, are you going to make it? I said, you invited me to play, I'm going to play. I did par one hole, missed a couple other par putts, and had just some awful scores. But I'll learn to stretch and warm up a little bit better the next time. But I went to play, and I wasn't quitting. It was a can-do thing. And the other A stands for abilities. If someone doesn't have the ability to do the job that you have asked, invited them, or given them to do, then you have to equip them. They don't get it by osmosis. I can't tell you how many people and how many businesses over the last 25 years that I've run into, that I've worked with. I say, well, what's your training program? Well, we just put her with our best salesperson. We just put him with our best manager. And I said, you did what? It's not, osmosis doesn't count. They're going to train them how? I guess it'll just rub off on them. No, they won't, because the chances are real good that the person that they're putting them with is not really equipped to do his or her job. And so you kind of got that old thing of the blind leading the blind, but abilities. The M, I'm going to give you two on that one. Well, it goes together. Being mission-minded. Did the mission statement get introduced yet? Anita?
Yes, last week.
Okay, last week. Everybody got it? Y'all can all recite it? Nope. Not. Anyway, I know not. But to be mission-minded versus maintenance-minded. Mission-minded will stretch you. Maintenance-minded go, I guess we did all right today. We got it here, now let's just keep it here. Let's don't change anything. We get together in a couple of weeks. We'll go through some insights into change and what it can do. But to be a good team member, to be an effective team member, you have to be mission-minded. Not because I say it, because it works, versus maintenance-minded. The W stands for work. Team members work. They just do. The guy that I told you about on the sports thing, the two players that were playing there, they said, we know who to trust when we get on the field. And I'm thinking, how do you know who to trust? I mean, this guy comes in, he's big, he's huge, he's fast, he's quick, whatever he is. And they said, because we could tell by his workout commitment level. And if he's not committed to working out, he cannot play at this level for a long time, and we don't trust him. Or as I heard a fellow say one time, this. 9 words that will take you to success. Work at it, work at it, work at it. Okay? We go enjoy watching sports, a lot of other things, and we don't see the work. We don't see the work that goes into it. I was told when I was in my teens by my dad, don't work hard, work smart. Anybody besides me ever been told that? Don't work hard, work smart. And I thought, wow, that's great. I'll just ease up and just be smart. That may have been true in the 60s, but I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, today, I don't know anyone that is effective, productive, or successful that is not doing both. They're working hard and they're working smart. Because we got stuff to work hard and smart with. The O stands for open. To be open to growth and change and direction and correction. I don't know about pro football because I don't watch it much, but I do watch college football. And college football is about growth and change and correction, true? We'll talk about goal setting next time. And when the coaches run out on the field, tomorrow night? Any Virginia Tech or Georgia Tech fans? No? But when the coaches run out on the field tomorrow night, they'll have a game plan. When they run out Friday night, they'll have a game plan. When they run out Saturday, they'll have it written on what? They'll have it written and laminated. They'll have it rolled up and stuck in their pocket. They'll have it stuck down the front of their belt or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen the guy. Now, let me ask you this. How long do you think it took them to work on that game plan? What do you think? They didn't do it in 15 minutes, did they? Over the week, they studied film like the players studied the film. Bob, you need a handout. There's one's on that table right there, sir. Oh, you got it up there. All right. All right. But they run out and they've done all this work on this game plan. I mean, they've worked, they've studied, they got alternate plays, they got this. Now, let me ask you a question. For how long is that game plan good? Really? Maybe one play if they run it all the way back on the kickoff. Right? They worked on it, and then they pull it out and they go, no, we can't do that. We have to change. Life, work, team, to be effective is about growing and changing. It's not about, unfortunately at South Carolina, we've had some coaches, and I think Spurrier has this from time to time. It seems to me like he sticks with his plan too long when it's not working. I mean, if I'm sitting in the stands, and I know what we're going to run. And I hadn't been to practice. I know the other team knows what we're going to run, and they stop us because they knew. We can see it coming. But anyway, okay. The R stands for role. Role. To be a good team member, a team member has to know his or her role and the responsibilities that go with that role. And with you being in leadership management supervision, you also have to know the role of your players. When South Carolina played LSU, it was a night game on a Saturday night when Lou Holtz was there, and they just came to town and beat us. It was like 32-0 or something. Not only did they beat us on the scoreboard, they hurt us and they just beat us. And Lou Holtz was on the TV show that weekend reviewing the game, and Todd Ellis said, well, Coach, kind of what happened? And here's what he said. He said we had three types of players on the field that had on Gamecock uniforms. He said we had some players that were doing their jobs. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing. He said we had other players that were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. And in the third group, he said we had people that saw somebody else not doing what they were supposed to be doing, and they were trying to do some of theirs and some of theirs. And he said, Todd, we only put 11 on the field. He said, and if each one of our guys go out and do what they're supposed to do, the way they're supposed to do it, he said, we'll be all right. And that's true. But you got to know your roles and responsibilities. You can't be running over doing somebody else. And I'm not talking about if it's an emergency. Everything's out the window then. But you can't be running, and you expect other people to do, to know, to do, and fulfill their roles. And the K stands for knowledge. Knowledge. As again, as I've said many times, you get paid for two things. You get paid for what you know and what you can do. And to earn more money is not about time and grade. It's about getting better at what you do, about knowing more things than what you currently know. My hope is that those 2 pages might create a picture for you of what a team looks like versus what a group looks like and what some of the requirements are. Anybody not have that? You got it? Okay. The next page are the chapter headings for John Maxwell's book, The 17 Laws of Teamwork. And he also wrote the 17 Qualities of a Team Member. But I thought we'd hit on these because I think it speaks to this. The newest book coming out, I think I got notified of it since I was with you last. His newest book is coming out in October, and the title of the book is this: Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Can't wait to get that. I read about every Maxwell book that he's ever written. But sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Okay, the law of significance. One is too small a number to achieve greatness, and that's obvious. The law of the big picture. The goal is more important than the role. And next time we'll talk about, how many of you, raise your hand if you're involved in goal setting, either the recipient of some goals or having some input in it or something. Okay, we'll do that next time, hopefully with some things that will complement and help you with what you do. The law of the niche, that's what I was talking about earlier. All players have a place where they add the most value. I don't think there are any Clemson fans. I asked that before. No Clemson fans? Did y'all any of you watch Clemson last Thursday night? Okay. Number 3 for Clemson, I don't know it. Beasley, I think his name is. Beasley, number 3 for Clemson. I mean, defensive end. He's in the backfield. He's tackling them. He's knocking them out, that kind of thing. Dabo Swinney challenged him because he wanted to play offense. And Swinney says, let me put you on defense. And if you don't like it, I'll move you back. And the guy is a terror. I mean, he is really good. He put him in a place where he could play better than he was previously playing. I mean, if you watch football at all, and you see people get into the draft, into the NFL, and they were a quarterback here and they're a linebacker now. They were an offensive running back here. They're a defensive back over there. They're better suited and better qualified to be over there. Number 4, the law of Mount Everest. As the challenge escalates, the need for teamwork elevates. The tougher it is, and when you get in times where it's busier, when does it really pick up for y'all? Like right about now, a week ago? I used to know the fall season, but it used to be different when I was in the hotel golf business back in the 70s.
September to November, and then again.
Kind of, yeah. So things are different. I mean, they get hectic. They go. We got to be prepared. We got to be ready. Like number 5, the law of the chain. The strength of the team is impacted by its weakest link, and we've heard that for years. And then the law of the catalyst. Winning teams have players who make things happen. People that take initiative. I'll give you a definition of initiative I picked up a couple years ago, probably in the dictionary, but I got it out of a book I was reading. And it said this: initiative is doing the right thing without having to be asked. Initiative is doing the right thing. And y'all have got people that work with you, I know, that take initiative. And my guess is you got some that don't. Well, what'd you do? I don't know. We were waiting for you to get back. What'd you do? I don't know. I couldn't figure out what to do. Did you call anybody? Well, no. Okay. What'd you do? Well, I saw what happened. I called this. I called that. It might not have been the most effective or efficient thing to do, but they took initiative. They make things happen. The law of the compass. Vision gives team members direction and confidence, knowing where you're going. When I call on companies sometime, I went out and bought a little compass from Walmart or somewhere. And I just asked the leadership team sitting in the room to point to north. Point to where you think north is. Well, let's do it. Point to where you think north is. I didn't bring the compass today, but point to where you think north is. Where do you think north is? I mean, we got them going that way. We got them going that way. We got them going that way. If I had a compass, I could tell you where north is. The mission of your company, the mission. Oh, you looked it up? Okay, Jim, go. You're our compass. Go ahead.
Use his phone.
Go. Tell us which way north is. Over here. And we have some people over here going, well, it's over there. Well, I think it's over there. Well, whatever. So the mission statement to which you got introduced is your north. It's your compass that points north for you. And number 8, you know that, but sometimes you let people stay around too long. The law of the bad apple. Rotten attitudes ruin a team. That's true. Rotten attitudes ruin a team. Again, you got team players and you got self players. I worked with a couple companies, one about 12 years ago, and the guy said, "What do you think?" I said, "These 3 people are impacting your team in a negative way." He said, "But I like them." I said, "But they're not doing the job." We had a guy at South Carolina named Carlos, and I can't remember his last name. He was a wideout at South Carolina when Spurrier came 7 or 8 years ago, and he could fly. He'd run down the sideline. If he got the ball, he was in the end zone. The next year, he was no longer on a football scholarship at the University of South Carolina. He was on track scholarship because he could run. And Spurrier was asked about it, and he said this. He said he didn't want to play football. He's a great young man. He's a great athlete, and he's very talented and very fast. But he did not want to play football. He didn't want to hit anybody, and he didn't want to get tackled. All he wanted to do was catch the ball in the open field and make it to the end zone before he got hit. So we got him a track scholarship because that's where he needed to be. But put him in the right place. But rotten apples ruin the team. About 4 years passed when the guy that I mentioned to you, I said, "These 3 people are having a negative impact on your team." And he got rid of one of them in about a year, and another one. He said, "Pete, it changed. Everybody got better. Just when I told them I loved them, but they didn't fit anymore. They had to go. So you can't let the bad apple ruin the rest of it, regardless sometime of how much you like the person." I like made-up words. And in number 9, John used a made-up word. The law of countability. Teammates must be able to count on each other when it counts. Got to be able to count on you. You give someone an assignment. You ask them to go do this, or they're responsible for doing that. You expect them to do it. You expect them to do it, to follow through and to complete it. Number 10 is a guideline for me. The law of the price tag. Teams fail to reach their potential when it fails to pay the price. There's not a person, I don't think, on the planet that is mentally healthy that does anything that doesn't want to win at it or be good at it. True? Okay. Everybody wants to win. We like winning. We like everything that comes with winning. We like doing our best. Having a desire to win is like the baby step. Having the desire to pay the price is a whole different ballgame. I'm working with a guy right now. I don't know. Saw him this morning. He took off. He's gone out to the Midwest. He's gone for 4 days. He was so pumped up on life and his new idea, it's not even funny. And he's spending money like it's water to buy all this stuff when he doesn't have the foundation of his business put together yet. And I told him that. I said, if you don't put together the foundation, having all this other stuff doesn't count. But he's doing the fun stuff. Oh, I'm going to get this, and we're going to have T-shirts, and we're going to have hats, and we're going to show this. I said, you don't have the business set up yet. How can you go out and give pizza? He's not in the pizza business, by the way. But how can you go out and give pizza hats and T-shirts and tell them how wonderful your pizza is when you do not have a building? You do not have you don't have anything yet. But it's going to be great when I get there, and they'll just follow me. Well, they're not going to follow you for long. Number 11, the law of the scoreboard. Teams can make adjustments when it knows how it stands. Scoreboards are important. They're important to you. They're important to your team. Sometimes we get the scoreboard in the way of reports, but it helps you know where you are. Any of you watched golf from years ago, like in the 50s and the 60s, some of that shell stuff and all that stuff? Do you know that they didn't have yardage markers? Didn't have them. They just had to look and guess. Now they want, to front, to flag, to whatever. And they're asking their caddies, and they got things that can zoom up there, and they got stuff in the ground, and they got markers on the side. Can you imagine playing golf today without knowing how far you're out? Okay? You can score better when you know where you are. The scoreboard also will give you some insights as to what you need to do. If you know where you are, okay, well, what do you need to do? It helps in decision making, and it helps make adjustments. Know how you're doing. Know where you are. That's where I start with companies. Where are you now? I emailed a guy in Charlotte today that was referred to me, and I said, when did you start your business? What are you doing marketing it? How many clients do you currently have? How many do you want in the next 12 months? That was not what he was expecting me to send him. He was expecting me to send him a bunch of answers. I don't know what the answers are because I don't know where he is. When he tells me where he is, I told him, I said, then I can tell you if and how I can help you. Number 12, the law of the bench. Great teams have great depth. They've got good people coming along. They've got somebody that's being trained up, mentored as they go through their job. 13, the law of identity. Shared values define the team, as does the mission and the goals. Shared values define the team. Let me tell you what I think the goal of any company is. The goal of any company is this. Someone new comes on board, and they're in your department or under your area, under your guidance, whatever, and you say, let me introduce you here, and then they come to work the first day, and a coworker standing beside them and said, let me tell you how we do it at National Golf Management. Let me tell you what we have a team member telling a new team member how we do it here. Doesn't get any better than that. Doesn't get any better than that. And we'll talk about that a little bit more the next time we're together. Number 14, the law of communication. Interaction fuels action, and we'll talk about that today. The effect of communication, how to be a better communicator, because so much rises and falls on communication. 15, the law of the edge. The difference between two equally talented teams is leadership. In football, we call it coaching, but it's leadership. 16, high morale. When you're winning, nothing hurts. When you're winning, nothing hurts. How many of you would like to increase morale in your area? How many of you would like to increase? Would you like to know how? It starts with you. You set the morale. You set the tone, and they'll follow you. I can't tell you the people that I run into say, I wish morale would increase in my area. Well, what are you doing about it? I'm waiting on them. Well, it's going to be a long wait. It's going to be a long wait. Was reading the book today, and what it says is, if you act happy and act like you feel good, your brain doesn't know the difference, and you'll start feeling good. If you come in with some pep in your step and you have some morale and you tell them you're excited about today, and they're going, I don't know what's wrong with him or her or something. They must have had extra coffee or something on the way to work. And you start coming in every day like that, guess what? It'll happen to them as well. If you leading, managing, and supervising people is a lot like raising children. When my wife and I first got married, some friend of mine from high school who's married and had a little girl who was about 3 years old moved into an apartment beside us on 35th Avenue in Myrtle Beach. And John and I decided one Saturday that we would spend Saturday washing our 4 cars. My wife had a car, I had a car, his wife had a car, he had a car. So we just pulled them up in the little yard, and we start washing cars. And his little daughter, Amy, was running around in her bathing suit, playing in the pool and all that kind of stuff. And he had this station wagon. They'd just moved back down here from Charlotte. He had this station wagon, and we had the doors open, and we were vacuuming it out. And Amy got in his station wagon, slid over under the steering wheel of the car, grabbed the steering wheel and went, "Damn it, damn it, damn it." I said, "John, do you cuss when you're driving?" She didn't figure it out. He said, "Amy, move." And when she turned loose the steering wheel, she quit saying. She didn't know what she was saying. What she knew was that's what her daddy did driving in traffic in Charlotte. Damn it, damn it. Anyway, okay, they're taking their cues from you. You want morale to go up? Increase yours. Now, they won't run up to you and hug you on the first day and go, "You finally got it. I got it now." It won't happen. But over a period of time, it will increase. And the last one, the law of dividends. Investing in the team compounds over time. My sense and my hope and my desire is the time, effort, energy, and money invested in this program for you will help you the rest of this year, and then the next year, and the next year, and the next year. This company cared enough to invest in you. That speaks volumes for where the company is and for where it's going. Questions, comments, anything on that page? Okay, next one says the goal is to have a rich team. A rich team. The A stands for accountable, or accountability. And if I haven't shared it with you, I'll share it with you now. The best definition I heard of accountability, I heard it earlier this year. Accountability is simply this: telling the truth about what you did or did not do. Accountability is telling the truth about what you did or did not do. The second we've talked about is reliability. You've got to be able to count on those people. Reliability. Or John Maxwell calls it accountability. The I is compatibility. Excuse me. The I is integrity. The C is compatibility. And the H stands for honesty. Be honest with your people. What's that show? American Idol? Yeah, you got all these voice shows coming on now. But if I'm right, American Idol starts in January. Is that true? Yeah. And when it first starts, I love to watch the beginnings of it because they got the snippets of the people who are awful. They're just awful. I don't understand it, and I don't get it. Our daughter called one night when she was watching it. She called. She said, "Pops, didn't anybody love those people enough to tell them that they couldn't sing?" Okay. Then you've got the parents that go, "Well, she can so sing," or he, and so. My mind goes through people things. If they talk about building the car, I'm not even stopping and watching that station. But anyway, but I am watching that. So I'm trying to figure out how do you get to there? How do you get to you can't sing and everybody else can hear? So what I realized was it is a hearing problem. Them and the parents. I hope they go home and watch the show because they're awful. They're awful. Anyway, by the way, I'll give you another H also. We'll use 2 H's. Humor. When you do something, just from time to time, have some fun. I've done this a few times, and I've recommended it to other people. I did it at home for a while, but my wife got sick of it, and she finally said, "Don't do it anymore." But you know the glasses that you go buy to little trick stores or whatever that's got the big nose on it and the eyebrows up here and the mustache and that kind of stuff? Okay? When my wife and I said we need to have a talk, I go put on those glasses. I say, "Okay." She said, "I can't talk to you when you got those glasses on." I know. When it's not Halloween, get a pair and put them on and ride in your car sometime and pull up to a traffic light. And look. The people in the other car will laugh. They just will. I did it with a guy who was a regional vice president of a company. He had a meeting with like 140 people, and it was about, we're introducing this. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of change. Some people are going to have to go. And he said he got introduced, and he walked up on the thing, and he pulled them out, turned around and put them on, and the people just cracked up. We just need to have a little fun sometime. Okay? We need to bring some humor. We need to bring some humor to the situation. Comments, questions? Got it? Okay, let's go. 5 things, failings or failures, or when things don't work out the way you want them to, reveals. By the way, everything y'all do and plan works out well, doesn't it? Huh? I mean, just like you planned it, right? We put it on paper and it was supposed to do this, and we did it and it did that. No, just like the plans for a football game, good for about one play. Then we got to start making some adjustments. Okay, but these are the things they reveal. One is defects or oversights in the plan. You just planned and you missed something. There was some oversight. There was something just didn't work right in the plan. Number 2, mistakes or errors in execution. Anybody in here just hate football? Okay, thank you for your honesty, G. Just hate football. And if you don't hate it, maybe you don't know much, but almost every offensive play is designed to score. If any of you ever played from midgets to high school to college or whatever, you know that when you draw it up with the X's and O's, from an offensive perspective, everyone is blocked, and if it's a running play or passing play, it scores. Yet 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000 people will go to stadiums this weekend and just jump up and cheer for a 10 to 13 game. But all the plays are designed to score. I mean, everybody's blocked. Everybody's this, and the lane's this hole, and they run that way, and it just happens. But the execution thing, sometimes there are errors in execution when we do things. Number 3, it reveals that there are miscalculations or errors in timing. Miscalculations or errors in timing. Timing, when you introduce things, all of that is important when it comes to leading and managing and building a team and communicating. Over the years, having grown up in Myrtle Beach, I've seen a lot of errors in timing where businesses were concerned. They came, their calculations were wrong. They kind of went to the wrong place. They opened at maybe the wrong time of the year. They missed the season. They missed the opportunity. And for some of you who have been there, you've seen that as well. Number 4 reveals weaknesses or misfits in the team. It didn't work out because you didn't have a fit. You had that bad apple. Or a misfit just as somebody that didn't fit. They might fit better on another team. They might fit better in another position. They might fit better. Great people. It's like I used to pick on Coach Tommy Bowden when he was coaching at Clemson. And I got some very dear Clemson fans, and they would say, but he's a good guy and he's a Christian. And I go, I'm a good guy. I'm a Christian. I can't coach college football. Okay? He does much better, I think, as a commentator. Great guy. I know his dad had him in town for a speech before. Great family. Number 5 reveals unanticipated or unknown variables. There were some things that you didn't know was going to happen. And for a lot of that, I think Jim or Bob or somebody told me this year, how many days were missed on weather? How many days were missed because of weather this year?
We lost 27% of the playable hours.
27%. When you were making plans last fall towards November, December, you had some of that factored in, but not 27%. Okay? Things happen. Things happen.
Would you come to our next board meeting?
I would absolutely come. I have walked among the giants as well, but you can't. You almost kind of have to plan for the unexpected, and that's, I mean, kind of how do you do that? But you just know things are going to happen. The key, I think, Bob, to stay with that for a minute, not just you, but for everyone else, the key is what are we going to do to respond? I mean, I don't know, I guess you heard it today, Front Street in Georgetown, 7 buildings burned. Okay? That's fact. Nobody was anticipating that. They got some wooden boat show coming up in a week or so, and they got an arts festival going on down there. And I know that because I got friends that go there, and all kind of things are happening down there, and poof. Okay? Now you can sit around and go, well, I guess we won't do anything. People are resourceful. Many are. I won't say most, but many are. Somebody will figure out something, and we'll go do something. You can't do anything about it. You can't go, I wish it hadn't happened. Well, good. Doesn't change anything. What are we going to do now? Where are we going to go from here? Unanticipated for everyone. Those shop owners down there, they were planning a big weekend. Come on, it's beautiful weather. The sports people are coming down. People like to visit down there, and it just goes on and on and on. But anticipated and when things don't go well, when things don't go the way you plan them, you just look at this list and go, what happened? Some of them you can do some things about. The misfits or the weaknesses in the team you can do some things about. You can learn from the errors you make. What I say to people all the time is this. The most expensive mistakes that you'll make are mistakes from which you do not learn. If you made a mistake and you learn from it, it didn't cost you near as much if you made a mistake and didn't learn from it. Did I talk about wise people and wiser and all that stuff with y'all before? Okay, well, let me give you this. You can just add it somewhere or just listen. And it's this. Wise people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from their mistakes. Well, I made it once, but I learned not to do it again. Okay? Wiser people learn from the mistakes of others. Why'd I have to do it? I saw him make it. I'll just read his book or read his comments or YouTube or whatever, and then I won't do that because they experienced that. And I knew those two for a long time. But I picked up the third one about 2 years ago, and it's this. The wisest people learn from the success of others. Why do you want to go learn from somebody that don't know what they're doing? I want to go learn from somebody that does. That's why I read like I read and what I read. Because for $29.95 or $22 or whatever the book cost, the paperback is $13 or $14, that person did something to learn, and they're going to tell me in 150 or 250 pages for $14. I can point back in my life, and I got a whole lot of costly mistakes that I'd have gladly spent $14 to learn from someone else. Questions or comments? Okay, how to become a more effective team member. See the big picture and know your role. See the big picture and know your role. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Because many people that you work with or work around you, they're not going to go figure out the big picture on their own. They don't know what time they're going to get. And I'm not knocking them, but the mindset is what time do I get off, and when can I get a raise, and what are the holidays, and what's the next big project that we have. Joey, okay? Or okay. The next big project that we have, and those times, they don't get the big picture. So let me ask you, and I think I asked you before, but I'll do it again. What business is National Golf Management in? The people business. What do you sell? Huh? Experiences. Yeah. You sell relationship opportunities. You sell memories. You got guys I was in Vietnam with, 4 of us got together, hadn't seen each other, all been together about 2 years ago up in Pinehurst. If they thought that they were selling us a tea time, they were dead wrong. They were selling us a time to get back together, to laugh, to cut up, to reminisce, to cry a little bit, and to share some time together. And none of us, we were getting ready to leave, and somebody said, we need to do this again. I said, guys, it's been wonderful, but we can't unless we wait another 40 years. Okay? Because what we did here, we can't really duplicate that. From the memories that we had to the whatever. You see, what I want you to know is you're selling way, way more than what you think you're selling. You're selling the last time maybe a father and son's going to be together. You're selling the time that a father's going to see a son make a hole-in-one. Maybe never see that again. You're selling a time when people can reminisce together. You're selling way more than what you think. Way more than what you think. And I share that with you because my hope is it expands that picture for you. Because the people that are working and keeping your fairways green, they think they're just keeping the fairways green. They're giving people an opportunity to do things that they can't do anywhere else. When I work with hotels, I said, what are you doing? No, you're sharing the last... First time that came up was about 20 years ago. I was working for Dolly Parton's people, whatever it was before, what it is. What's our place? Dixie Stampede. And I was in there, and I had all the clerks half one afternoon and half another afternoon. I said, what do y'all do? And one guy said, well, I sell those pictures. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You've been in there to make you take a picture. It used to be with the borough. I don't know what it is now. And I said, really? He said, yeah. And I said, well, why you sell them? Well, we sell them so we can make some money. I get some commission. I get to split it with the other team that's around there. And da-da-da-da-da. I said, do all the people buy them? And he goes, no. I said, let me ask you this. And it just came up. I said, the ones that don't buy them, have they ever called back later and want to know if you still had them and tried to buy them? And one of the management people there said, yeah, we get a number of calls like that. I said, well, why? You mean they just ride down the road and go, ooh, we need that picture? No, because something happened to one of the people in the picture. Something happened, and they went, wait a minute. That was a time we had together. And that little group of people, those 2 days, realized they were not just selling pictures. They were selling something that somebody could look at 20 or 30 years down the road and said, that's when Granny and I were there. That's when I have one with my family with my mother there, and she passed away about 7 years ago. And it's about 8 years before that. Wouldn't take anything for that. That was the time we were together. But the point of that is this: for your people to realize they're doing more than just what they're doing. They're doing more than just what they're doing, and they need to know that. Story goes that Lyndon Johnson was somewhere at NASA, at one of the NASA sites, and he walked in and he asked a gentleman that was sweeping the floor. He said, "Sir, what are you doing?" He said, "Putting a man on the moon." He was sweeping the floor, but he knew it had something to do with the man going to the moon. Because if we realize that we're part of something bigger than we are, okay, we'll take a break. Go ahead. Now it's 5. Okay, all right. If we're part of something bigger than we are, the same goes for the San Francisco 49ers when they were on that run. I think back in the 70s or the 80s of those 4 or 5 Super Bowls, and somebody walked in and saw a guy doing some maintenance work. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Going to the Super Bowl." I did this for a company in Dallas, Texas, and the guy that I was working for was a big Dallas fan. He said, "Let me go you one better." Now, this was before their current owner. He said, when the Dallas Cowboys go to the Super Bowl, everybody goes. All the admin people go. I said, man, that's a treat. The people answering the phone, the people getting the memos out, they get to go, yeah. He said, but Pete said, that's not the best part. He said, the best part is when we win a Super Bowl, everybody in the organization gets a Super Bowl ring. You got some lady down there banging out on the computer, got a Super Bowl ring. Because she had something to do with that team going to the Super Bowl. Did she score a touchdown? No. And so the point of that is this. If you don't create the bigger picture for them, they won't figure it out. Okay? They're part of something, and you're part of something bigger than what you think sometimes. Okay. Number 2 is a continuous desire to be on a team that performs well. Continuous desire to be on a team that performs well. Number 3, give the team your best. That's all you can ask out of someone, is to give the best. Kathy, did we do the reach thing? Did we do a reach? We do a reach. Okay. All right. I'll let you finish right then. And here's what I want you to do. You can remain seated, but what I want you to do is this. I want you to give me your highest reach. Give me your highest reach. Go ahead. Give me your highest reach. Okay? Maybe you're going to stretch a little bit too. Okay. Now give me another quarter of an inch. Come on, give me another quarter. Oh, you lied to me. I asked you for all you had the first time. We hold back. We hold back. We've always got a little bit more. We've always got a little bit more. 4 is a duplicate of what we've talked about. Know your role and accept responsibility for your role and perform it. Know your role, and this is not just for you, this is for others as well. They got to know their role, accept responsibility for it, and perform it. The fifth one, to be a more effective team member for you and for others, be accountable to the team. Be accountable to the team. Did a strategic plan for a company about 6 or 8 years ago, and when I got through, they said, okay, we broke everything out on the things that we're going to do, and we broke them out by the month, starting in January, and we assigned each person some of these things to do. And Petesy, we want you to come sit in on our meeting. I said, I don't need to be there. Y'all can't. No, you come sit in on the meeting. And so we got to the first meeting, and maybe like a third of the stuff that was supposed to get done got done. And so I met with the leadership team afterwards, and they said, you didn't really participate in that like we thought you would. I said, well, it was kind of your meeting. It's your company. I respect that. Can you help us do better in February? I said, I think I can. I think I can. And they said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to ask them to explain to the team why they didn't get what they were supposed to do done. Why they didn't do it. And we went in February, and about a third again got done. But as we went around the room and somebody reported, I just jumped in and I said, tell everybody else sitting around this table why you didn't do yours. And some of them were legitimate, and some of them were not. In March, 50% got done. In April, 75% got done. In June, it ranged around 80 because things did happen. They couldn't get to some of the things. Okay? But I can tell you, if somebody's late for a meeting, ask them to tell everybody else in the room why they're late. They either won't come to the next meeting or they won't be late. When we have to explain ourselves to our peers and be accountable to the team, stand up and say why you didn't do that. Things usually, people either become accountable or they leave. It's been my experience. Okay. Yes. Okay. We're going to take